Being in 2026 has got to be the worst time to get into gaming. Consoles are overpriced, and a PC is pretty much unattainable for the general population. And our hope and savior, the Steam machine, is definitely going to cost more than $1,000. So what's the solution for getting into gaming or buying a PC in 2026? Honestly, I don't really have one. However, Facebook Marketplace might be it. I somehow managed to snag a 2019 low-end pre-built for a whopping $70. It's got a Ryzen 5 3400G, a GTX 1650 Super, and 16 gigs of RAM. And this got me thinking, can we make our older hardware more usable so we don't have to pay these outrageous prices that these greedy corporations are charging us? And that's my goal in today's video, to see if we can get this outdated pre-built to run current AAA titles, or at least something close. The first thing we're gonna do, of course, is install Windows. We want to get a baseline of how this computer performs before tweaking any settings or switching to an alternative software like Linux. So once Windows was installed, I started downloading some games. The games I picked both run on Windows and Linux, so we can get a clear idea of the performance differences between the two. And the games I downloaded first were Satisfactory, The Finals, Marvel Rivals, Power World, and Halo Infinite. And to say that they performed well would be an understatement. We were averaging across most games somewhere between 50 to 100 FPS on low settings. Still a playable experience. However, some games like Halo Infinite performed worse, of course, but most stayed in that range. The biggest issue though was a weird stutter. No matter what game I played, the graphic card would just stutter consistently. And on top of that, everything that used the Unreal Engine would constantly crash. I mean, not once here and there, I mean consistently. And honestly, I have no idea what was causing this issue. The drivers were up to date. I tried a few different fixes I found online and nothing resolved this issue. So I just left it there and decided to deal with the slight stutter. Now that we have all my benchmarks from Windows, I wanted to test some of the games on Linux. I installed Bazzite, which I think strikes a good balance between SteamOS and something like CachyOS. I plugged in the USB and nothing happened. I was like, okay, this is happening again. The same thing happened to me last time I tried installing this software. Bazzite just doesn't like me the first time around because I forgot I was running an NVIDIA graphic card instead of an AMD. This plays a big part. So I had to go back and grab the NVIDIA version of Bazzite to get it to install. Once I did that, we got Bazzite up and running and we started downloading some games. And our performance was actually much worse. We lost about 15 to 20 FPS in most titles, which is really disappointing because I would expect the opposite. But since Linux is open source and NVIDIA isn't willing to open source their drivers, we're going to get a bit less performance than we would like. But I didn't think this much. So this got me thinking, what if we use some sort of upscaler or frame generation to get better performance on Linux? So I went ahead and bought Lossless scaling because this both has frame generation and upscaling. Then I found out it doesn't work on Linux. Whoops. But there's a completely free upscaler app that does work on Linux. So I got that installed and started using it. We did see a performance difference, not huge, maybe the extra 15 FPS we were missing in most games. So we were pretty much getting the same performance that we were on Windows. But our games are running slightly worse visuals because of the upscaling. Even with the same FPS, we were still getting that stutter issue I mentioned earlier. Most games were just stuttering for no apparently reason, and it's not like we're maxing out the CPU or GPU. We're sitting around 70 to 80% usage, which was pretty disappointing because I have no idea what is causing the stutter issue or the constant crashes. It's not even fully maxing out our GPU. Since this was a pre-built, it could be a power issue, it could be the graphic card, or the whole system could just need some new thermal paste. But at the moment, I still have no idea what is causing this issue, and it's frustrating me. So in the grand scheme of things, Linux would normally be the answer to the performance issue. This time, it wasn't. We got worse FPS overall and a worse gaming experience because of NVIDIA doesn't open source its drivers. So I had to go back to the drawing board to figure out how to get more performance out of this PC. It's old, it's outdated, and it's underpowered. I made the decision to reinstall Windows because we're going to try a couple of different things to see if we can hit the performance numbers I was looking for. The first idea I came up with is, since this PC has two GPUs, the I GPU that's built into the Ryzen 3400G, which is the Vega 11 graphics, and the GTX 1650 Super, which is our main GPU. With lossless scaling, you can have one GPU rendering the upscaling / frame generation, while the other renders the main frames, which can improve performance and is proven. So of course we have to give it a try. And my second idea was overclocking. I sadly don't know a whole lot about overclocking on Linux, so I didn't feel comfortable doing it there. I've overclocked plenty of PCs using Windows in the past, so I stuck with what I know. So I reinstalled Windows for the second time, grabbed Afterburner, and grabbed lossless scaling. Now that we have lossless scaling set up, let's get this thing figured out. We had frame generation, upscaling, and the dual GPU compatibility to test. What I really wanted to focus on first was the dual GPU setup. So I set it up to generate frames using the Vega 11 graphics, hopped into Satisfactory, and was getting terrible FPS. And it felt terrible, super laggy and inconsistent, which I thought was a little weird, since I expected better. So I did some more digging and found out you need to have the HDMI cable plugged into whichever GPU is handling the frame generation. In our case, the processor, or the integrated graphics. So I plugged it into the motherboard's HDMI, restarted the computer, and got slightly better results, but we were still getting worse FPS using this method, which is a bit of a bummer. I know Vega 11 graphics really just can't compete or even come close to the 1650 Super, which is pretty funny if you think about it. Both GPUs are quite old. They would think that combining them, you would result in better performance. Turns out, absolutely not. Then I tried frame generation running off the 1650 Super and got the same FPS as just rendering the game normally, still around 60 to 80 FPS. And on top of that, I still had that stutter issue. Upscaling, however, did work. We were able to hit the 81 to 100 FPS, which is honestly not too bad. So out of all these methods, upscaling was the only one that actually got us better performance out of this GPU. That said, I was generally disappointed we couldn't make use of the secondary iGPU on the Ryzen processor. Given how slow it turned out to be, if it had worked, it could have been a game changer. So yet again, this sent me back to the drawing board. How do we realistically get better performance out of an old, outdated PC like this? We can't use Linux because of the GPU, and the GPU itself is so old that it doesn't support any sort of newer features like frame generation or even NVIDIA's built-in upscaling, which it kind of does in some cases. So what is our best move? We could swap the GPU for an AMD card and go back to Linux, but I decided it'd be better to see if we could squeeze a little bit more performance out of both the CPU and GPU as they are. So I started by overclocking the GPU. While researching for this video, I found out the 1650 Super is known to be a pretty easy to overclock without running into major issues. So I went with what most people online were doing, a modern increase on the core clock and 1000+ megahertz increase on the memory clock. And I was of course able to push it quite a bit farther than that. And we were getting fantastic results. The stutter was officially completely gone. We were looking at a 30% increase across all games, which would have been huge for me because this is exactly what I was hoping switching to Linux would have gave us. Since Linux didn't work out, this became our best course of action. And it was working great! We went from consistently at 58 to 60 FPS in Halo Infinite to an average of 81 to 110, which I thought was pretty amazing. After dialing in these settings, it did crash a few times because I was pushing our GPU just a little too hard and it was drawing more power than our power supply could comfortably handle. We got a crash every time it spiked. That's how I kind of rolled out. It was the power supply, which isn't a huge deal. You kind of get the worst power supplies when you buy a pre-built. So I dialed everything back down to a level where we were getting consistently good results. Then I decided, why not overclock our CPU too? This took a while because no matter what I did, it would either crash or fail to boot into Windows. I found out the memory or RAM couldn't be clocked past 3000 megahertz. So I settled on 38 megahertz, which is decent, and it gave a slightly better performance in some games. Though I would like to see a bit higher, but the RAM we have is pretty cheap. I was also able to boost our CPU's performance by 26%. So now with our overclocked CPU and our overclocked GPU, this computer is generally usable. Not saying it wasn't usable before, but we were getting the kind of results I was hoping Linux would give us, just on Windows instead. I do wish we could use Linux, since it absolutely gets better performance, but the NVIDIA GPU holds us back so much when it comes down to raw performance. But we are on Windows, so let's see what we can do with it. Now we're seeing a consistent 30% increase across all titles, which is amazing. Even a little bit more than 30%, I'm gonna say in the ballpark of 45. Especially for a PC this old and this low end, it actually kind of shocks me that we're seeing over 130 FPS in games like the finals. Like, actually mind-blowing compared to when starting using this PC and it would just lug around every corner. So at the end of the day, is it worth buying a low-end, outdated PC and trying to squeeze more performance out of it? Well, I think so. This might be the best way to get your hands on a decent PC that performs in the same ballpark as a console. For under $500, you can find these pre-builts, well, this exact pre-built, somewhere in the ballpark of $250 to $400. Grab the cheapest one for around $250, as long as it has a solid processor like a Ryzen 5. Then pick up an RTX 5050 or an RTX 4060 off of eBay for around $200 to $250, and you're all in for about $500. And you get an absolutely incredible gaming experience for the price. This is pretty much what you would pay for an entry-level PC just a year ago. Now, if you went with an AMD graphic card instead, you could run Linux and get even more out of this build. But if you're stuck with NVIDIA like we were, overclocking your outdated hardware is the best bet for squeezing out more performance. This used to be talked about a lot more in the past, and I don't think enough people talk about overclocking as a necessary step anymore. But I really think it is, especially now when DDR prices are so inflated that it doesn't make sense to spend that kind of money. You could literally build a whole PC for the price of 64 gigs of DDR5. That's pretty insane to me. This is probably the best way to build yourself a current budget-friendly gaming PC in 2026. Money's already stretched thin enough, and taking old hardware like this and making it actually useful is the best way to get the most bang for your buck. This PC has plenty of compatibility left and plenty of room to upgrade, considering we're not even using the best parts of this generation. Anyone could grab one of these and throw a new processor and a new GPU in it, giving old hardware a better chance to be utilized while still saving money. So yeah, this is probably the best way to get into PC gaming in 2026. But with that said, here's a twist. I have a lot of PCs and I thought this build was really cool, but my main purpose of buying this PC in the first place was to actually fix my server. So as much as I would love to see this thing live on as a gaming rig or sell to somebody so they could start their gaming addiction, the CPU and RAM and motherboard are going to be living as my daily Minecraft server, for now at least, because my Minecraft server is really out to date. It's a first gen Ryzen, where this is 3 generations newer. A lot better architecture, Zen 1, or the Zen architecture in general, so just an overall better CPU. So yeah, a little bit of a twist for you guys. But anyway, this brings us to the end of the video. If you like this type of content, feel free to sub, And if you have any sort of criticisms or stuff that I did wrong that you want to, of course, call me out for, listen, I'm a noob as much as you are. I just like tinkering around with stuff on my free time. So again, if you see anything I did wrong or stuff you don't agree with, please leave a comment. Let me know, because your comment and your idea could be my next talking point, and you could prove me wrong with something I stand by, like how Nvidia is terrible to run on Linux. I've had problems with it. You could have a way better experience than I've had, but every time I've used Nvidia on Linux, it's just been pretty mediocre. That's the best way to put it. But hey, yeah, hope you guys like this. Please give me a sub. Have a good one.